Hi, me and my friend Dr. Anisha, who is a oral medicine and oral radiology specialist, we are today here together to tell and understand why this No Tobacco Day and what it is all about. What do you think? Why do we need to mark a day as a No Tobacco Day? Do you think is there any significance? Does it help in really spreading awareness? Anyway, a lot of things is happening. I would really like to know your perspective and if you can share your thoughts with all of us.
Hello, Dr. Gargi. It's always pleasure to be here. And I'll start off with statistics only, and that's the best way it can make someone understand the impact of tobacco. Every year, around 8 million deaths happen because of tobacco, which could be prevented.
Seriously.
Yes.
So it's 8 million deaths due to tobacco could be
And
prevented. What are
out
you?
of which, again, 1.2 million is because of second-hand tobacco use. Say someone is smoking, you're in the periphery, you are impacting someone else's health also. Very obvious why we have to mark a day so that we can remind everyone that yes, it is harmful, and if you want to quit, there are a lot of us who are there to support.
I think this is a very, very important stats that you gave, Anisha. I think marking a day is telling people each time, reminding them about how harmful tobacco is and where it leads us. And as you rightly said, that this is preventable. So many deaths are preventable. So many lives could be saved with simple practices, as I perceive as well,
They
right?
say know your enemy to fight him faster. So why don't you explain everyone like how dependency happens, because you are the queen of storytelling.
What happens? Anything that is addictive is basically the play of chemicals, that is hormones in our body. Tobacco dependence is not just one kind of dependence. That first I want to emphasize. It is a chemical dependence, of course, at the first point. It is a emotional dependence, and most importantly, it is a behavioral conditioning. What does that mean? Basically, you when you start taking tobacco, you tell your brain, you tell your body, this is something which you need, just like a baby knows that it needs food, it cries. So you are actually parenting your brain for a wrong reason. And as I said, chemicals. So, of course, as we all know, dopamine is the pleasure hormone. So, nicotine, which is the primary chemical in tobacco, amongst many other things, that actually activates the brain within seconds, and the impulses, the information goes out to the primary centers from where dopamine releases. So, we are happy, and anything that we are happy with, we try to continue. The body and the brain completely, they both start depending the particular tobacco, the chemical, because that is where it makes very, very difficult to quit this habit
With
actually.
this, I would also like to explain why we needed to know this is
Hmm.
one, it is chemical. Oh, you're not quitting tobacco. People judge. You don't have willpower. No, it is not about willpower. There are physically things happening in your body. Second one, behavior modification, which is the theme of this year. How people, teenagers and adolescents are groomed to like tobacco. Maybe, positioning it as oh cool thing, or masking it as vape. Vape, they told it is safe. No, it is not safe. So these things, understanding these things, how we are being manipulated, how our body is going to react, can help us quit it faster or in a structured way than just thinking, okay, I have willpower, let me quit it. No, it doesn't work out like that. That is exactly why you needed to know all these things.
I completely agree with you, because here I just want to add on fantastic point you told, Anisha, is that um, it it is projected as, the macho thing or the status symbol, things like that. I mean, something you are smoking, you are kind of great, like a. I mean, I'm sorry to say, but all the movies, shows those kind of things. But I think it's your masculinity or your chauvinism or your, real inner power. I think that reflections are different, and I think that's a different discussion altogether. So I completely agree. And just to add a point, like you said, how things are marketed. if we come to that aspect, this electronic vaping for say e-cigarettes, okay, is nothing less harmful than smoking a normal cigarette that you get. Okay.
Yes, there are few myths we would like to bust here today. One is your nicotine replacements. Okay, I'm not saying they are harmful because you are physically dependent on something. You need something to replace it, but the replacement should be exactly what it is: replacement for a short duration of time. If you continue it, your body is continuously getting the supply of nicotine. It is little different than your tobacco habit, but not much different. You should always, when you're trying to quit, you should always set a target. I will use this for this. This is where your willpower actually comes in. When I said it is physical, does not mean willpower has no role. Yes, your willpower has a role when you assist it with physical supplement of nicotine. So set a date and then quit it. If I'm going to take replacement for those many days, you wait for those days. After that, you have to cut it down. You won't say, okay, I'm not taking tobacco, I'm not getting its harmful effects, I can continue with replacements. No, it doesn't work.
I think the most common question, if I have to, scale it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the top question I would like to ask, and what I have heard from patients is that um, they say that I want to quit, but I can't because I get suddenly anxious or those kind of emotional upheavals. So, what would be an answer when a patient asks you this question as a clinician? How will you counsel your patient, Anisha?
When a patient says some things, I will tell them, yes, it is part of it. In fact, when you as a clinician suggest someone to quit tobacco, it is our duty to educate them what to expect. Because the moment you stop, yes, there was physical dependency for dopamine release.
Exactly.
So you are going to see the consequences of it, but preparing them will help them. It will not last long time. Okay, for some it will be 2 weeks, for some it will be 4 weeks. As and when the nicotine gets cleared from the body, symptoms get exaggerated, certain get suppressed, but as and when you go, everything will take a back seat. So, like even not just anxiety, there are a lot of people who complain of dry mouth, ulcers. So many people
Exactly.
complain they get lots of ulcers without tobacco. So my advice is be prepared. You are going to experience withdrawal symptoms, and if you have a brief timeline, and there are always supports. You get nicotine replacement therapies. Yes, they are helpful. You can start off with replacement. Then there are medications that help you with sleep. A lot of people complain of sleep
Right.
lessness,
Sleep
loss.
deprivation, basically.
Yes. And some come up with weight gain and some come up with loss of weight. Everything can be assisted. So talk to someone. If you don't know what to do, talk to a practitioner and then you proceed, because we will prepare you what to expect and how to handle it personally. I'm a patient and I want to quit tobacco. Give me a strategic plan because I want to know how you are going to be beneficial.
Yeah, I think that's a very important thing to address. If I have to tell you a plan to somebody, first of all, I will just take the cue which you started with. So, set a date for you. That is most important. See, it has to be a very easy plan. Don't make it, we don't need to be over ambitious. At the end of the day, we are human beings, and if we think we can do something, we can. So but for that, we need some kind of support, some kind of goal to be achieved. So the first thing that you can do is to set a date. Second, very important thing which I always speak about is always look signals from your body. That is your best thing, best mentor who gives you all the clues. So identify the trigger points, meaning to say you can observe yourself and see that which point you are getting very that craving. No, I have to smoke. No, I have to take chew areca nut, things like that. What are those points in a day that you get most? Is it before meal, is it after meal, or early in the morning? So you can look into patterns of your own self and you can take a note of it. Then definitely the most important thing, take support, ask for help, seek support, because that is very very important. I'm just referring my notes because as I said, these are very important things and we cannot miss out any important point. If somebody is struggling with not even starting this whole process, please take help of counselors. There's a lot of people who are expert in this domain, who are specifically trained as how to, they'll help you how to start this easy plan. You can take help for tobacco counseling from a counselor. And a very important statement I would like to make, I think Anisha already said that context, is you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it alone at all.
In fact, the whole purpose of World Tobacco Day is to make you realize there are so many of us, as not as a user, but so many of us are there to support you. In fact, if you want to, I want to start quitting today, let it be today. Let it be today. Let 31st be your day. You don't consume tobacco for a whole day. See what's happening with your body, and then you can definitely take help.
Okay, Dr. Anisha, I have an interesting question, which even as a clinician runs in my mind. Because when I was doing my clinical practice long back, and I was doing it in a rural part of Bengal, so used to see a lot of people, and they don't have also the basic understanding. And uh, I would really like to share here that I successfully de-addicted 6 people completely, and they are like come from a very low socioeconomic background, which I take pride in, because I think that is something uh, that gives me happiness, that somebody's life we could change. But the question I want to ask you is that, many people now understand these things, say today, by seeing our conversation, probably they get motivated and they start on this journey. Is there beyond, is there something beyond quitting also? Is it something that, okay, I made my mind, Gargi told these strategies, Anisha told so many things, we are able to do it, but what is beyond the screen? Can you highlight something about it?
Yes, definitely. So once you get tobacco, there are two things you need to know if there are some changes already. It won't go off magically the moment you stop tobacco. Depending on the amount of changes that has happened in the tissue cell level, some might disappear, some might persist for years together. That is your first thing. Second one, if there are, you know, changes in the cell morphology, the way the shape or some structure in the cell has changed, that cell is always prone to pick up cancer. I won't say someone will get cancer 100% for sure, but that cell is more prone to pick up cancer than the other cells. So, being aware of your body is very important. Keep observing yourself. Oral cavity, I can definitely help you out. Just touch and see. Usually, the cheeks, inner cheeks, the lips, tongue is a kind of structure that doesn't have any nodules. It is soft. Just feel the texture of it. See if it is soft, or if you see any knots on any hard part, please visit a either dentist, general practitioner, doesn't matter. Visit a healthcare professional who can guide you better. Second one, observe the color of your inner cheek. Uh, Usually it is around pinkish in nature. For some it is white, lightly towards the shade of white or red. Or if you have some melatonin, that dark spots might be there. But any change, let's say white or redness or some elevations, I told it is soft and smooth. You don't see any nodules, bumps, no. Any ulcer that is not healing for long, especially if you're a tobacco user. And if you have other systemic conditions like diabetes, run. Please rush to a healthcare practitioner and get yourself checked. Luckily, nothing very well for you. Even if it is something early, the more earlier you catch, the faster it is to treat and it is easier for you in the long run. So, being aware of your body is another part of your tobacco quitting journey.
Thank you, Anisha. It was very informative, and I completely agree. Like, as I said, I always emphasize on this, that um, listen to your body, because that's the best guide, that's the best mentor. So, is there any helpline that people could, secretly they can do it on their own, and they can reach out for help? Like we were speaking about counseling and all those stuff, because I understand that. We have all, I know it's a society, there's a lot of stigma as well, so don't worry about all those things.
To begin with, all the medical, because government has made it as a policy now, all the medical colleges and dental colleges have set up no tobacco, like tobacco cessation cell. You get lots and lots of information and support from that particular center. Then Nimhans has a extensive program for de-addiction. There are a lot of private players also in the de-addiction programs, and you can just Google it out just by typing tobacco cessation
Again,
helpline.
I want to emphasize another thing which can definitely take information from AI, but it is always suggested to consult your dentist or the specialist doctor, who will help you in the journey. You are actually bombarded with a lot of information, but what to do, how to do that, I think you always should go for an expert help. That is what we both want to emphasize on this No Tobacco Day. So I think with Dr. Anisha today, we could give you a set of information which probably, if you are into addiction of tobacco, would help you in some way or the other.